Back in 2018, just as I was starting to make money right out of school, I sort of YOLO'd on Tesla, and I threw like 20, 30K into Tesla, and that just exploded. I am a huge fan of Elon Musk. I love the mentality that he takes with his products, that the product should speak for itself. That's sort of what I want to take into the short-term rental space, is make my property so unique, so different, and just an incredible all-around experience for guests that the product sells itself.
Welcome to the Pacific Bin, a truly one-of-a-kind Airbnb that's 2 stories tall and made out of 5 shipping containers just 1 hour north of Seattle. I'm Zach Cruz, co-founder of Sponstayneous and host of the Behind the Stays podcast. And this is a special series called The Next Generation of Hospitality Entrepreneurs. This episode features Devon Loerop, the creator of this incredible home.
My name is Devon Loerop, and I am the founder, owner, and builder of the Pacific Bin. So I grew up in the western suburbs of Chicago. All of my family still lives in the Midwest right now, but I knew I always wanted to live by the mountains. So after I graduated from engineering school, I decided to just pack up my bags, move to Seattle, and just really give it a shot here on the West Coast. I've always been a really hands-on person. Growing up, my family and I, we would always be renovating homes or working on something. I worked as a welder for 3-4 years in high school and the first bit of college. So I've always been a really hands-on, manual labor loving kind of person. I've always been big on investing and growing my wealth, like with the goal of having financial freedom. My dad always said to me, he's like, I always want to do one step better than your grandpa did for me, and I'm sort of running with that, and I want to do the same thing for my family. In studying the finance space a bit, I've seen a lot of opportunities can open up, and just owning a physical asset like real estate is one of the biggest ways to grow wealth. The idea of owning a single family home or a duplex or something like that was just totally unattractive to me. The reason why I chose to go with a container home is because I not only had the experience in welding and steel work, but I love the aesthetic that they had. I'm like 60% Swedish, and that aesthetic, that Scandinavian aesthetic, I love. So I figured partnering that with the crazy mossy forests here in Washington, it just really seemed like a power move. So purchasing land was one of the most daunting parts of this whole journey, because I've not only saved up over the last 3 or 4 years living out here like $180,000, and I'm about to go throw this at a piece of land hoping that I can build. Eventually, after looking at 30, 40 different pieces of land and putting offers on numerous pieces of land, I finally found this 4-acre plot. Within 6 minutes of it hitting the market, we had an offer in, and we were closing 24 hours later. So the plot of land I bought was just shy of 5 acres and completely undeveloped. There wasn't even power at the front of the lot. There was no sewage on site. This is unincorporated, so there was nothing. I bought a forest. The design of the home actually came together way before purchasing the land. It was a few Christmases ago. I was back in Chicago with the family. We had those little Brio train cars, and we started stacking these things around because I really want to build this container home. I don't know what exactly it's going to look like. So I just started stacking them around. My mom's a designer back in Chicago, so we started brainstorming, and by the end of that Christmas break, we ended up with a full-on floor plan on what this home could look like.
So have you ever been scrolling on Instagram and seen these gorgeous Airbnbs that look like they're fresh out of a Restoration Hardware or Dwell magazine? And have you ever wondered to yourself, how the heck did these hosts afford to furnish their spaces so elegantly? Well, I wondered the same thing, and that's when I realized that the reason these hosts are able to afford to furnish their spaces so well is because they have access to a secret that some of the best short-term rental hosts use, and that secret is none other than Minoan. So what exactly is Minoan? Minoan is a completely free and really easy to use platform to help you manage everything that you need to furnish your short-term rental. If you have more than one short-term rental, chances are you use a property management system, something like a Guesty or an Uplisting. Well, think of Minoan as your system for everything that you need to furnish your homes. Minoan provides hosts with a one-stop shop for hundreds of discounts on the world's leading brands, enabling you to order, manage shipping, basically everything that you need to furnish or refresh your properties you can do quickly and easily through Minoan. Minoan also helps hosts make additional money by making their spaces shoppable in a subtle but sophisticated sort of way. Here's how it works. So let's say a guest messages you during their stay remarking about the beautiful night of sleep that they just had. And they actually want to know what mattress is in the primary bedroom because they want to go home and buy a mattress for their primary bedroom. And if you help influence that sale, Minoan thinks that you should get a little cut of that sale. Minoan's technology enables hosts to earn commissions on everything from sofas to coffees to soaps and shampoos. Minoan helps you save on high-end furnishings up front, and if you want, earn a little bit of extra cash anytime a guest purchases a product that they first fell in love with while on vacation in your short-term rental. Sign up for free at minoanexperience.com and be sure to tell the team that Zach and your friends at Behind the Stays sent you their way.
I bought the land outright, and that was a really good start on getting all my permits together and starting to kick off the actual build process. All in, the property was right around $150,000. The build itself was right around $550,000, but it's kind of a gray area because I upsized the property to be able to accommodate multiple homes. Overall, the lot will be able to accommodate the bin itself, which is the fully permitted main structure. It'll have an accessory dwelling unit way in the back of the lot. There will be another short-term rental, as well as an unpermitted treehouse, which is going to be the next project we're kicking off here. So many people out in the short-term rental market are always looking at ways they can cut costs, really just save here, save there. And from my opinion, staying at places like that, I've really seen through that and they've almost felt cheap. And I wanted to tailor this towards that luxury market. Not only because it makes for a better experience for the guests when they're staying here, but down the road, it appraises much better from a business perspective. A few areas I definitely didn't skimp out on was the $17,000 hot tub, which is a saltwater tub, which is just super luxurious. It leaves your skin feeling all spa-like after the fact, and going all out with the steam shower. Like it could have just done a normal shower pan and tiled walls, but went all out. The full steam room, just those little details that really add up and make for a really unique experience. I had my first real pop-off Christmas 22. I think I got like 80,000 views and I was like, holy smokes, this is cool. Working as a filmmaker, photographer, as a side hustle, I sort of knew my way around the social media space a bit, and I knew that storytelling is the key to growing an audience. Initially, I wanted to just go all in on YouTube because that's, in my opinion, the best way to tell a story. You're really connecting with an audience and showing the whole process all along the way. But doing most of the construction myself, I just didn't have the brain power and time working 100-hour weeks out here to be able to sit down and edit a YouTube video. So Instagram sort of became my channel of telling this story. So I was not only able to just buy a $30 tripod on Amazon and just set it up as I'm working, but I made the cognitive decision to focus on what story I was telling each day. So whether I'm pouring the concrete foundation, I'm really showing every little step of the way, not just like beginning to end, because people engage and learn from you telling the story all the way through. And as I'd lay in bed, I'd stitch it together in like 20, 30 minutes, post it, and have a couple million views in the morning. That's sort of the point that I knew I had to keep documenting this, and no matter how painful it was to just be dead tired, that I needed to get a reel out because the next step was coming and I needed to keep documenting this. Just the growth periods were crazy. Right when we first started setting the boxes, June of 22, we grew, it was around 250,000 followers across 30-day period. And that's when I realized, I'm like, holy cow, I can't find any other Airbnbs that are even bigger than this at this point. I made sure to be the face of the build, not just showing cool clips of stuff happening, but I made sure to tell that story, sort of make my audience experience like just this exhaustion I'm going through, the high points, the low points, like this didn't go according to plan. Giving the audience a character to connect with as the story was being told. I really learned the power of storytelling, and I sort of got to become a better storyteller through trial by fire. So my first experience with making the perfect reel was when I started cutting out the windows on the home. Anytime I would cut out a steel opening and drop it on the ground, those reels would start to get 400, 500, 600,000 views. And then I just started to refine that a little bit more. And what I found was the perfect recipe for making a reel was getting anywhere from like a 5 to 7 second reel, packing as many like 0.6, 0.5 second long clips in there as possible. It was sort of learning to identify trends with my audience and making the reels just short enough that there's so much content packed in there that people are watching and rewatching the same reel because they're just getting so much out of it. It's almost like anything else. You really just have to clock the time, obsess over it, and you will you will learn. I mean, Mr. Beast is like a prime example of this right there, just absolutely obsessing over something until it is perfect. One of the main lessons I learned launching the home is that I was expecting, having this audience of 1 million plus people, that the home was gonna book out 100% for when I opened up 2023. And the home did about $30,000 to $40,000 in bookings, which booked me out about 2 to 3 months and filled up the summer a bit. But then it started to, I guess, patter out a little bit, and I was like, what's going on here? That's it? So I think there's a valuable lesson in that it's infinitely valuable to have an audience, but that doesn't necessarily mean that having insane audience numbers translates to instant bookings. I mean, we're over 60, 70% direct booking with the bin right now, which is a total testament to that. But I just learned that, and for anyone launching their first Airbnb, don't expect something just massive right off the bat. I knew from the very beginning I wanted to just pump influencers through here and just get as many people staying, promoting it online as possible. And I'm learning that influencers aren't exactly all they're cracked up to be. I'm actually working on a YouTube video for this on how I am absolutely done working with influencers staying at the bin. Most of the time, influencers don't have incentive to actually turn their audience into transactions for you. I had a handful of guys that stayed here that just made garbage content that I would never want to share. You can tell they like took all their photos within 5 minutes at like the worst lighting conditions and then just sent them over and said, cool, you're good to go. I've reworked my influencer partnership structure, and I think this is an absolute powerhouse for homes that have some social media presence that are trying to work with influencers to get more reservations. The way I've set it up is if an influencer is going to stay at my home, they have to pay full price for the length of stay that they want. Once they've received 2 or 3 reservations from their audience, then I give them a full refund because that in essence was working for me. I mean, so many doors have been opened up since the bin really blew up with an audience over 1 million people. There's actually going to be a Netflix show kicking off in 25 where we are doing a crazy container home here in Washington. I can't say too much about it, but container homes are definitely going to be the foundation of this brand, and there's a pretty cool one planned for 25. I am hoping to retire from my engineering job spring of 2024. That's the goal, and the way things are going right now, it's looking like it's gonna be going that way. I ideally would love to have 4 to 5 vacation rentals by the time I'm 33, so 5 years from now, and just really be seeing what that next season of life looks like. By that point, I hope to have the core business really locked down and just really running super efficiently so that I can start to brainstorm what the next crazy idea is. I I definitely have some just crazy goals for future airplane hangars that turn into wedding venues that double as short-term rentals. I really think there is a market for expanding beyond just a short-term rental business, but for the next few years, I really have to build that foundational business. I'm just starting to like gain my footing and really try and figure out what that looks like in these next steps. I think I really want to be known as someone that is transparent, authentic, and I feel like so many people just hide the true day-to-day. And like for this treehouse build that we're gonna be doing, I'm diving all in on YouTube for it, and I'm literally gonna be taking you along for every step of the way and just telling you what it's actually like doing this. Not only because I'll be there for every step of the way, but just that's sort of the brand I wanna build. I want my audience to know that I'm just an authentic person who really cares about making beautiful, unique, luxurious stays for people to rent and really be able to experience something different. Just get away from the city, just dive into nature, experience a really unique home. And yeah, that's just like being authentic. What comes around goes around, and I really just want to sort of foster that sort of atmosphere.
Now, if you want to score deals on the best unique stays like the Pacific Bin, be sure you're subscribed to Sponstayneous, a free newsletter that goes out multiple times a week that brings you the best last-minute deals and upcoming steals on Airbnb. You can sign up in the description below.